If I could get everyone to go ahead and start getting your seat, remember the social distance if possible. We're going to get started. If I could have everyone's attention to please come and take your seat if possible so we can get started. It is getting hot and we are going to have refreshments afterwards. So.
Is the board supposed to be back here?
Yes, sir, please.
Okay.
leadership and background, there are great things to come. And I want to just finish up by saying the best is yet to come. Thank you.
In my haste to move through the program, I forgot to mention a key component of our museum and society, which is Janelle Troll, our executive director. So Janelle, there she is. It's under her leadership that we are definitely moving forward. At this time, I'd like to welcome a man who has just been introduced, Mr. Rob Hernandez, our city manager for the city of Cape Coral.
Thank you, Gloria. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your warm welcome. Thank you to the Cape Coral Historical Society, the Historical Museum, and city staff for putting together today's event. You know, I'm very excited to be here, not only as your new city manager. Can you hear me okay? Or do I need to put this up closer? Put it closer? Okay. Not only because I'm beginning my term as your city manager, but because I'm probably, judging by everyone here today, Cape Coral's newest resident. I'm very excited to be here because I've been coming to Cape Coral probably for the last 14 years or so. My sister used to live off of Del Prado Boulevard, and when we would come visit her, I would get excited, and it was so different than living on the east coast of this state. And I would be absolutely blown away by the quality of the neighborhoods, the friendliness of the people that lived here, and of course the abundance of all the waterways to take advantage of, to go boating, to watch the manatees, go fishing, and so forth. So when the opportunity came up recently for this position, I put my hat in the ring because it's something that I certainly looked at 8 years ago when you hired Mr. Zerlag, but you know, it's all about timing. And so I wasn't ready then, but here we are today, and we're here celebrating the city's 50th anniversary. Got it? Something always goes wrong when I'm asked to speak. I don't know what it is. All right. So let's talk for a moment about what's happened in the last 50 years. And we know that the growth that has happened in Cape Coral has absolutely been remarkable. Just 50 years ago, when the city appointed its first city manager, a gentleman by the name of Cliff Ryan, to oversee the day-to-day operations of the city, the population was about 10,000, more or less, right? And now think about it. Here we are today, 50 years later. I'm beginning my term as the 14th city manager in the city's history. That's not bad. It shows stability and continuity in terms of city administrators. And our population now is approaching 200,000 residents. And what started as a smaller community, pretty much in the area of where Cape Coral Parkway is today, we now extend all the way north to almost the county line. That's remarkable. So as a city manager, a city administrator, I will bet you that my goals and my desires for this great city mirror the goals and desires of your first city manager. And that is, this is a fantastic water wonderland, right? As the city has often been described. We know that we want a safe city, a clean city. We know that we want a community that is a great place for our families to live, work, and recreate. It's the same today in 2020 as it was in 1970. Ensuring that our residents and our businesses have an exceptional quality of life and an opportunity to thrive, I'm sure was well in Mr. Ryan's desires as it is mine. You know, the mayor mentioned the importance of expanding our infrastructure, and that is certainly something that, as your city administrator and taking my cues from your elected officials, we will continue to do. And we need to continue to do that in order to sustain the city's economic viability, in order to attract new industries and new investment, we have to make sure that we've got that infrastructure in place. And today it's no longer just about roads. It's no longer just about water and sewer and irrigation. We're also talking about parks as infrastructure, and we're talking about broadband technology as infrastructure. All of those things are very, very important as our city prepares to move into its next 50-year chapter. We must continue our expansion of technology in municipal operations as we move forward. Think about it today. 50 years ago, I think we had one patrol vehicle, which was a station wagon that also doubled as the ambulance. Today, our police officers, basically their office is their vehicle. They're equipped with the latest technology, everything from license plate readers to laptops to body-worn cameras. Who would have thought 50 years ago we would be at that point today? And can we possibly envision of what the technology holds in store for the next 50 years? We don't know, but we need to make sure that as a city government, we are positioned to incorporate those new technologies in the way we operate, in the way we provide service to you, our customers, our residents, our neighbors, so that we can make sure that we are efficient and effective in providing government services. Ultimately, my goal as your city administrator and working with your city commission is to ensure that your city government continues to be viewed as transparent, responsive, efficient, but most importantly, helpful to all of you. We don't want to be in your way. We don't want to prevent you from accomplishing what you set forth to accomplish. Our job is to help get you there and to maneuver through the variety of regulations that are imposed upon us by the state and local ordinances and so forth. But together, we'll get there. We know that after 50 years, the city has still a lot of room to grow, and we'll ensure that we'll do our jobs properly to make sure that the city continues to grow properly over the next 50 years. But perhaps what's interesting today, and certainly was not the case when Mr. Ryan became city manager, now we have to think about redevelopment. And so after 50 years, we've got areas in the city, notably on the south side, that's primed for smart redevelopment to make sure that we are positioned for our next 50 years. And we're getting there. We've got a CRA, we've got a lot of interest in the area, and we'll need to make sure that we get there. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you for being here. And let me tell you that on behalf of myself and my wife, Mercy, and our 2 dogs, we are proud to be Cape Coral's newest residents, property owners, and part of Cape Coral's new history. Thank you very much for inviting me here today. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a lot of special guests here today and elected officials. So at this time, please help me welcome Representative Dane Eagle. New dad. Would you like to come up and say a few words, or do you? No worries.
Thank you all for being here, and I just really want to come up and thank everyone for putting this together, especially Gloria and the museum. If you look over here, we have a very nice letter from Governor Ron DeSantis, a tribute from myself, but primarily the letter from Governor Ron DeSantis, which he presented in January when we had the first celebration. We wouldn't have that without Gloria's tenacity. In fact, she had been emailing me once a week for the past several months trying to get the governor here personally today. He's pretty busy with COVID and the response, but I did talk to him this morning, and he does send his best wishes and wishes, of course, he could be here to celebrate the 50th anniversary of this great city. Having been born and raised here, it's been tremendous to see the growth and everything that's been happening. I can't date back to 50 years, but being born in '83, going to Pelican Elementary, living in Southwest Cape Coral, which back then looked like the far reaches of North Cape Coral, my mom would send me and my sister out to our friend's house down the street, and it was the only house down the street, so you could run across the fields and know that you're safe because there's nothing else going on. So it's been amazing to see this growth. I'm so proud of the city, and it takes great community leaders like Gloria, like the board members at the museum, like all the people here, and like our elected officials. So I look forward to 50 years and beyond of Cape Coral to go. And as Gloria said earlier, There are close elections. 300 votes was what passed this. It is election day, so make sure you get out and vote. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Dane. Thank you. Representative Spencer Roach, did I miss him? He said he was attending today. Yeah, well, he has a busy day as well. We now have several of our county commissioners. I'd like to introduce District 1, John Manning.
Thank you, Gloria. I served on the city council in 1982, 38 years ago. My job was made a lot easier when a guy by the name of Mazurkowitz was elected mayor next year. I served 2 terms. They were 2-year terms back then, and I don't know what they are now. 4 years. Okay, thank you. I want to wish the city of Cape Coral 50 more years of prosperity. Mayor, thank you very much for this, and the rest of the commission, and Gloria, thank you.
Thank you, John. Commissioner Pendergrass, did you want to come up and say a few words? Followed by Commissioner Hammond and Commissioner Mann. I don't think Commissioner Sandelli is here.
Thank you, Gloria. Thank you all for being here this morning. What a celebration. Bruce, thank you for your commission service, too. Bruce was on the county commission back 50 years ago this occurred. And as a lifetime resident of Lee County, I wasn't born in the Cape like Commissioner Hammond and Dane was, but I was born across the river 57 years ago. So I remember coming out here when I was like 6 years old, taking the tours in the little vans, trying to get my parents to buy property, $20 a month for a lot. But what a tremendous growth. But what made it so great is, like Dane said, was the people, the community coming together, the elected officials over the last 50 years. Thank you, Commissioner Manning, for your service there for our whole county and the city, because that's what made this such a great community. The people are really here now. So thank you again, and happy birthday, Cape Coral.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Brian Hammond, who's the chair of the Lee County Commission today.
First of all, Gloria, thank you very much. What an event. Thank you very much, Gloria. I will tell you, I was born and raised here in Cape Coral, grew up and went to Cape Elementary School. My dad's been here since elementary school. Commissioner Scott, thank you for being here on day 1. It's an honor to be here as a Cape Coral native now on year 50, upholding the legacy. I want to tell you, I see so many friends here. It's really humbling just to be here. Mayor, thank you very much. Mayor Mazurkowitz, who was the mayor when I was a kid. The first ever mayor that I ever heard of was Joe Mazurkowitz. And the first council person when I was 2 years old, by the way, John Manning. So I want to say thank you. I wish you 50 years of prosperity. My family is looking forward to spending the next 50 years here in Cape Coral with all of you.
Thank you, Brian. Commissioner Mann, who crossed the bridge as well.
Thank you, Gloria. And what a special, exciting day this is for me. I remember well 1970, but I also remember 1957 when my brother and I would spend the night about 200 yards from where we are right this moment in a little bunkhouse, because my daddy had a ranch here. He had 1 square mile. He had bought a section from Gerald Moody. You old timers remember Moody Road, and that's the Moody. He paid $40 an acre for it. And they said, "Why did you sell it, George?" "Well, they gave me $325 when Gulf American Corporation bought it." So we were here when Cape Coral was born. What a dynamic place to have witnessed, from the few thousands that were here to the nearly 200 today. And the great leadership, Joe Mazurkowitz, I say this with no apologies, greatest mayor that ever lived. And what a joy to be with you. I'm so happy for everybody in the Cape, and God bless you in another 50 years.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you. I'd also like to recognize Therese Everly from the Cape Coral Hospital. She is our board member representing Cape Coral. Therese, did you want to say something? Thank you. Cape Coral Hospital is our jewel, and we appreciate you being here. At this time, I'd like to recognize the city council members, and if you all would like to say something, please come up. I know there is Council Member Lois Welch, Council Member John Gunter, Council Member Marilyn Stout, and Councilmember Jennifer Nelson. I don't believe I missed anyone. Oh, and Councilmember Jessica Cosden came. Yay! Thank you all very much for attending today. Well, we have a very special guest with us today. I hunted him down like I was a police criminal looking for like a detective looking for a criminal. Mr. Scott, I hunted you down on Facebook, through Lee County, through your son, and finally found you. So Mr. Scott was the chairman of the Lee County Commission in 1970. He swore in the original mayor and city council. And he's still here today living in North Fort Myers. Mr. Scott, please come up.
Boy, what a nice looking crowd. You look as good, except for that fat little commissioner over there. But I'm telling you, we can't start to believe that we are here 50 years later with a beautiful community filled with wonderful people. Now, it wasn't an easy road to get here. As a matter of fact, it's been mentioned to you that how close the election was to go to incorporate or not. Some of the people felt like, well, maybe we're jumping out of the pan into the fire. Others felt like that they wanted to be governed by themselves, as we all do. And so it did. Now, most of the time, we've talked about, so far, about the future since the 50 years. Let me give you a little bit of background that you might be interested in. Back in the 1800s, we were at war with the inhabitants of the state of Florida. It was the Calusa and the Seminole Indians. There was no Fort Myers, but then there was a fort built along the Caloosahatchee River, and then the colonel that was head of that fort to fight the Indians, who were deep into the Everglades, was Colonel Abraham Myers. So in 1841, the Remove the Indians Act was endorsed and incorporated, and the governor and the colonel, they brought peace to the state of Florida. In 1841, they passed the law to remove the Indians from Florida, with a certain amount being able to remain. And you might have thought that was bad, but you know what? Those people stuck it out, and I'm telling you folks, you don't know how the mosquitoes work. They were thick as flies, or thicker. But right now, today, they're not in too bad a shape. I never knew this, but they are receiving, man, women, and children, $7,000 per month. That includes the children, or that's $84,000 a year. Even children are getting it. So we're taking good care of them. We might have been very bad to them at first, but we're taking care of them now. It's a pleasure for me that
kids are born here, and they're raising their kids and planning to raise their grandchildren here. That is a unique experience for this community. Imagine what's going to happen in the next 50 years when folks who are invested in this community with their whole life, with their kids' lives and with their grandchildren's lives. What are they going to do for this community? I just can't wait. And I'm probably while I don't believe, like the Lee County Electric Co-op franchise agreement, I will be here to do this again. Of State document where it says, I, George Firestone, Secretary of State of the State of Florida, do hereby certify the above and foregoing is a true and correct copy of Chapter 70-623 Laws of Florida Act of 1970, which created the city of Cape Coral as shown by the records of this office. This was dated in 1984 because the original law was made law without signature by the governor. And that just wouldn't do for Cape Coral. So we had the governor and the Secretary of State redo it in 1984. So we had a signed document. We're going to re-sign that document today. Chairman? Or Commissioner?
They're new pens, John, so hopefully they write. I knew that was going to happen. It's a new pen, so let me, yeah. This document will end up at the Cape Coral Museum and the Historical Museum, and we will frame it along with all of our posters, and we welcome you to come anytime to the museum to learn more about the history. Bring your family, bring your friends. We are running a fire exhibit right now. It's called Behind the Mask, followed by the Cape Coral Police exhibit, which will open in September. To capture the history of the Cape Coral Police Department, followed by the Cape Coral Hospital in January. We will be capturing that in an exhibit. Janelle does a wonderful job with all of those, and we hope the population will come out and really enjoy it.
I was 11 months old when I signed this.
Almost like you're a brand new baby. This is really very, very special. I hope it means as much to you as it does to me, having moved here when I was 9, and you can calculate I'm old, that this is really a historic moment for us, and we should be very, very proud. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. That is a living document. Mr. Mayor, I love the jacket, by the way. Thank you so much.
The jacket was a gift from the police chief in 1983. There's 2 other items of clothing that are authentic to the 1983, my boots and my tie. Unfortunately, the pants and the shirt that fit me in 1983 no longer come close.
Thank you, Joe, very much. Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate it very much. We have refreshments and air conditioning with bagels and juice and fruit. So please join us as you go into Public Works building and get something cool to drink and enjoy the refreshments.